So once you have your use case, let's build it. So Dustin, do you have any ideas of where I should begin? Like any use cases that we can try today?
This
Oh,
is one that I like to do because it's super business valuable. But like, what if we, does everyone on this call get calls and incidents that are like totally solvable? You know, hey, my camera's not working on Microsoft Teams, or how do I get my Outlook to do an out of office, or just those kind of general help desk 101 type things. So rather than build some like AI agent that tells a joke, which is what everyone does, how about we build an AI agent that actually would do real deflection for people who use ServiceNow in IT SM capacity?
yeah, well, this is a helpful slow message and it's loading. Let me answer one question from Fatima. So safeguards, we're going to talk a lot. If at the end I have a set like a topic for security, so guardrails, data privacy, and all of those things. So I will, if time permits, I will actually show you a demo. Let me just go look at another instance that I have. That instance is acting up.
All right, so while we're going here, let me tell you how I think about this problem, right? So let's play this out for real. We went to group action framework there, and we saw that we get a lot of incident type situations where the actual number of incidents we're getting about an insight or an inquiry or something like that is high. Um, that that gives us the total pie, right? So we now have five, six,
Yeah.
700 things that are there. We then went and process mined it, and we can see that when a person asks the question, it has to go to another person to fulfill it. So we have two humans resolved in every one thing. And now that we're here in AI agents, let us show you how you can build a very simple AI agent to solve that. How do I fix the general purpose problems on my computer right here
All
inside of
right.
now?
I have this Zurich instance. Oh, wow. Look at this, Justin. I see voice as well. But today
Yeah.
we're going to stay with chat. And guess what? I'm here in the AI Agent Studio, although it looks a little bit slow because they just upgraded it on me. Um, this is your AI agent. We're building one that Dustin said to really help solve IT problems. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use AI to help me build AI. So I want my agent to resolve common IT issues. And we will let it generate all the prompts and we'll see what it does.
So if you weren't paying attention, we could have went and wrote this AI agent kind of the hard way by being a really good prompter and coming in. But one of the things ServiceNow has is an AI agent to help you build AI agents. So just that simple sentence, Ritesh, what did that do for you right here?
Yeah, it gave it a name. I like IT issue resolver. I think it agent description is perfect. It also gave it a nice role. And personas are very important. Even when you're in ChatGPT, give different personas and you get different responses. So this is one very important thing you should be crystal clear. It also created steps and it created it overthought. I'm going to simplify it. So I'm going to say collect relevant incidents. I don't want you to verify anything. I just want you to, I will say,
Yeah, we'll
generate
start small. Like anytime you're
resolution.
building an agent, starting small is a great place. Yeah.
Yeah, and small and then iterate based on what you see. So we're going to start with like three simple steps here that I just see, and those look okay to me. I gotta put the numbers. Okay, so that's simple. Hey, look at these cool things. Security, Fatima, let's answer a few questions. So right here, you can define, like agents is not open to everybody. You can define which roles or actually any ACLs you want to apply. These are ACLs behind the scenes. So if you only want to restrict it to ITIL or a specific group, you can add the role here and they are the only ones who can see it. For now, I'm going to just say any authenticated user. And then you can also decide with what access you want to run the agent as. So you can run it as a dynamic, like the caller on the ticket or whatever it is, or the assignment, the person assigned to or whoever that is. So it will run with those privileges, or you can just create a new user for the AI agent, give it very least privilege access and run it with just that. For now, I'm going to leave it dynamic. We're going to keep it simple. Dustin, do you want me to add? Oh, the name exists? Okay, IT, because I was trying. or
IT issue
service
resolver too.
desk. Let's save it.
You had a question there, Ritesh?
No, it's like, this is a good thing. So reusability is very important, and we help you. So when you're building AI agents, don't create duplicates, try to reuse, and we help you. For now, I'm going to just ignore. I was going to ask you, do we keep it simple, or do you want me to add any tools, or maybe for later?
Let's do the first pass. Like this is as simple as it gets. It's an AI agent with no tools. Let's see if this is actually meaningful or valuable from like a business
Yeah.
sense, and then we'll start to kind of piece this apart and say, well, what are the gaps in just building an AI agent with no tools, and why would we add tools to this to solve the things that we need it to do and make it actually create work for us?
Awesome. Just quickly want to show you, you can add triggers. We talked about user triggers or manual triggers, and you can create like on created, incident created, or incident updated, whatever. I'm not going to do it, but I just want to show you like you can do very much what like you're used to writing anywhere else in the platform. So you can have manual or user triggers. I'm going to leave it blank, which is manual.
Go back to that for one sec, Ritesh. There's one really cool trigger I want to show everybody. Great. For trigger, go to the very bottom and all the
Sketch.
way, yeah, all the way at the very bottom, email. So if you guys today, if anyone on this call is getting emails and swivel chairing into ServiceNow and copy and pasting things, I know you're out there. First off, we have emailed a case to solve this as a platform feature. But second off, you can have an AI agent handle your shared inboxes. Keep that in mind.
That's a cool one. Like I didn't even know that. So thank you. I
Yeah.
learned something.
And then there's in a future release, there's actually an email agent enhancement that will handle not just inboxes, but it'll handle the conversation replies as well. Pretty cool. That's
Awesome.
a
Can't wait for
forward-looking
it.
statement. Yeah.
Alrighty, the agent is ready. You can display. For now, I'm going to just save the simple one and start testing. And I will use a common thing like, I was troubleshooting just before this. My camera does not work on Zoom calls on my Mac PC. And let's see what it does. So this left-hand side is actually what your users see. The middle portion and the right is for you as developers to troubleshoot, debug, and then iterate. Oh, wow. It's asking me some follow-up questions. Okay, let's see. Is the camera not detected or black screen? Okay, with black screen. Sorry, no. Just
While you answer those questions, this is so cool because everyone on this phone call, everyone on this stream, we have so much technology. It's like, how do I fix this one thing for this one app? And a lot of the times when I build this example, people are asking me, how does it know this? Because traditionally, what did we have to do? We had to go write hundreds of knowledge articles to be able to get answers for our people. But because ChatGPT is a general purpose transformer, it's able to know almost all of the types of things for troubleshooting. It's essentially as good as a level one help desk technician at anything. And because of that, what did we get on our second turn of our conversation here, Ritesh?
It's pretty awesome. Like I am a dumb person, as I said, and I don't know how to fix it, but it gave me pretty good, decent troubleshooting.
Yeah.
I
I like
just
to challenge this though. Like if you ask your help desk technicians right now to recite off the top of their head exactly the steps to go through to fix this issue, the best of the best could, because they live and breathe this all day long. But your average help desk technician, what are they doing to resolve this? They're going to ChatGPT and typing it in and then just reading it back. So by replacing this essential human activity with another one, we free that technician up for the harder, better, kind of more meaty projects that are out there. In other words, I think this very first example is a way to get to real value because it works 24/7, 365, and it'll make every employee as smart at fixing their help desk issues as anyone. Go ahead, Ritesh.
awesome. Just a little bit technicals, if you're wondering. So you see, we use React, and what that means is The agent to solve the problem, which is the Mac issue, whatever, the camera issue, it will have a thought. Then it will take an action to actually try to solve it, and it's going to observe, and then it will have a series of thought, action, observations until it actually gave us this. Okay. Well, maybe we go. How can we do something else like Dustin? Should we be maybe tying it to a web search maybe to see if it gets better?
Yeah. So let's imagine a situation where this AI agent is bad. Just for because believe it or not, that AI agent will literally be your best help desk technician right now. Like I challenge anyone on the call to be as good at fixing laptop issues as the one that we just built in 2 minutes. But where are some things that it might not work for? Well, ChatGPT gets updated every couple releases, right? And Windows 12 is coming. Apple is going to release a new operating system, Tahoe. Zoom's going to ship updates. Teams is going to upgrade. And we've all experienced asking ChatGPT a question. And remember, it's trained at a specific date and time, and it just doesn't know what the new stuff is. So how could we solve something like that? And this is a great spot to talk about tools. Ritesh, why don't you walk us through some of the tools that you're aware of and maybe the tool you think would be the best to make sure that this AI agent is always aware of the latest and greatest stuff?
Yeah, so to give it the most recent, because it does not have everything in its training, I would just go with a web search. But before that, I want to just answer a couple questions. Like, Rohit, you're asking, can we look up knowledge articles? Yes, you can absolutely do search retrieval. If you use search retrieval, that is basically going to do AI search on your knowledge articles. So you could absolutely do that. There's another question about Gaurav. If you want to know, like, if you want to use tools to connect to SAP or Workday or anything else, you have a couple options. So one, you can use your subflows. If you already have integration hub spoke, you can use your flows or spokes here. You can even write scripts to do REST API calls. But these days, everybody's building MCP servers. So let's say if SAP or Workday has an MCP server and you want to connect to it, you can even use MCP server if that's what you were asking for. But I will come back to where Dustin wanted me to go, the smart man. So we'll do a web search. And you see, we use Gemini, which is, every model is good for different things. And we've learned that Gemini is way better at doing web search and answering questions. And that's what Google is known for. So I'm going to keep all of that the same. We have two modes here. So if supervised is the tool is going to ask for your permission before it executes this tool. If you make it autonomous, it will just go ahead and run it. If you want to display the outputs to the user, you can, but this is going to be dirty JSON, so I'm not going to display it. I will say I don't want that. And then this is just the message that people see on that left-hand side. And I'm going to leave it at what it thinks. Output strategy, another cool thing. So every tool is pretty much a JSON, but if you want to make it concise, paraphrase, or verbose, you have those options, or you can even do your custom ones. I'm going to just leave it as none for now. Okay, so I added a web search.
So let's what did this do from some, let's actually go look at that same query and see the difference in how the AI agent kind of executes and what we might need to do on the instructions to make this AI agent use that tool.
Yeah, because I dumbed it down to just generate resolution plan and it will use its general knowledge. I will now say use web search because I added a tool and it will automatically know that it has to pick that tool.
So the takeaway there, guys, is it's not just adding tools. It's telling your virtual worker when to use the tool for the job. That's a step that some people miss.
I'm going to give it the same problem. Doesn't work on Zoom. I actually see. We'll see if it gets any better. It actually triggered web search. So just by telling it that simple use web search instead of its own general knowledge, it's actually triggering a tool. And look at that. It's actually using a web search now. So again, thought, action, and to take that action, it uses a tool that you give, and we give it a web search. Oh, it also knows my country, by the way. So if you are searching from another country, it will do it like a Google search from your country. That's awesome. Yeah, this is the raw response. This is the observation. And we didn't want all of that. And by the way, it's actually giving me a response, which is way better. And look at that. It has sources which are actual official Zoom support. So your technicians are way smarter. I would definitely use this, Dustin.
Right? So with one tool, this AI agent now knows how to fix every single problem for your company's general purpose IT, and it's up to date on all the major support techniques and kind of bleeding edge stuff in any of the websites we've given our web search tool the ability to go search and crawl. So in 5 minutes, 6 minutes, we have an AI agent that can essentially stop the silly incidents from ever coming to our people who really have a hard job of solving the harder things, like a blue screen of death that's intermittent or a motherboard that might need to be replaced or something.
Yeah, and Praveen, I want to answer your question. Yes, the response is different. Yes, as you see, the response is definitely different in both cases.
Yeah. And on that, guys, I think this is an important thing. AI is non-deterministic. You never get the exact same output to the input. But what I want to challenge everybody with is, are you getting the business value? And the other side of this is, if you called your level one help desk technician and you asked them one thing, and then you called their peer 2 cubicles away, they're not going to use the exact same words to resolve the situation, right? They're going to communicate it slightly different, just like our AI agent communicated slightly different. But what this allows you to do is to take that brilliance and to put it right in the moment. So now that we have this here, Ritesh, do we want to add another tool? Do we want to maybe talk about how we could put this into ServiceNow in different channels and things? What do you think in the next area is we should go to?
Yeah, let's just talk through where we would use it just so everybody understands. And by the way, there are a lot of great questions on security and how do we stop like guardrails basically from like web search not going rogue. We will talk. We are unfortunately short on time. Those are deeper topics, but I will show you a little bit today. But I want to answer Dustin's question. So there are two channels in ServiceNow. One is called the analysis panel. This is that star thingy here. This is for your fulfillers or your agents or your service desk people, and they can get responses here. They can pin it. They can talk to any agent and get what we saw in the studio. They can get the responses here. The second one is for your end users, employees, customers, whoever, who typically come from a service portal. You would have a virtual agent, and I can turn this on to display it on a virtual agent for certain roles or just to everybody. So those are the two main channels. This one, if it is for technicians, it'll be in the analysis panel.
I just want to add one thing there, Ritesh. This all piggybacks off the conversational interfaces functionality of ServiceNow. So for anyone on here who's enabled a chatbot via Teams or Slack or GChat or Line 6 or SMS or Facebook Messenger, don't forget ServiceNow supports all those channels.